Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Today we are dealing with, and before I start with, I want to apologize, my sincere apologies for the inconvenience caused in the previous session. And today we'll be dealing with an important topic and the most favorite topic of the examiners in both the theory, and a most important topic and a favorite topic of examiners, both in theory as well as practical exam. The topic is Gara Visha. Gara, it's derived from Gra Dhatu, which means deglutition or ingesting. Most apt definition I find for this term is from Ashtanga, which says Kritrimam Garasanyam tu kriyate vividhaushadehi. The one which is Kritrima, and it is formed from the combination of vividaushadi, vivid different substances. Here aushadi doesn't mean the drugs which we use for treating diseases. Here aushadi means in general dravyas, which here the combination is not mentioned, that whether the combination is from poisonous substances or combination is from two non-poisonous substances, or it could be either poisonous and non-poisonous substances. Now coming to another classification mentioned by Bhava Prakasha. By classifying Visha, he mentions Kritrima Visha and Akritrima Visha. Kritrima Visha is Sanyogaja Visha and Akritrima Visha is Naisargika Visha. In Kritrima Visha, he mentions again Dushi Visha, which he defines as Savisha Dravya Sanyoga Krata. The Visha which is made from the two poisonous substances. It can be 2, 3 or many, but combination of poisonous substances. And second thing is Garavisha, where he mentioned it as Avisha Dravya Sanyoga Krita. That is because of the combination of drugs which are non-poisonous. Next, coming to the Swarupa. How is this combination made up of, or what is this combination made up of? This is, they say it as Nana Pranyangasha Malan. Nana Prani, it is the combination of various parts of Prani Anga, that is different body parts of organisms. Nanya Prani Angasha Malan. Malas of different organisms. Nanya Pranyangasha Malan. Viruddhaushadhi. Drugs or substances having opposite potency. Viruddhaushadhi Bhasmana. Aushadhi as well as Bhasmas having Viruddha potency. One Ushna Virya Dravya and one Shita Virya Dravya in combination. Viruddhaushadhi Bhasmana Vishanam. Vishas of Alpa Virya. Less potency. The substances or Vishadravyas having less potency. Combination of any of these or all of these together forms Garavisha. Next, coming to the Prayoga Vidhi of this Garavisha. If we see the utilization of Visha, if we see historical references in Vedakala, we don't find exact references for use of Visha over any organism or any person as such, but there is mention of Visha and the treatment aspects have been mentioned. So we can come to an we can imagine or we can draw a conclusion out of it that these Vishas were Naisargika, might be they were Naisargika, and the poisoning occurred because of accident. Maybe a person might have accidentally ingested it and produced certain Vishada symptoms and later was treated with the drugs. The references give such examples or such hypothesis on this. So after this, if we see the Treta Yuga, there we see the use of Visha intentionally over causing destruction to other person. Okay. We as in yesterday's session we had discussed the example of Lakshmana being injured by the Shakti Ayudha, where the Visha Prayoga was done intentionally to cause the destruction, and there was an antidote which was given. So from here we can get examples of use of this Kritrima or Garavisha. In later again, coming to the Dwapara Yugas, where the motive was very clear in case of in the example of Bhima, where he was intentionally poisoned. That Gara Prayoga was done intentional, and later he got cured by a snake bite. Here we get an example for Prati Visha concept. From there, coming to the medieval era, coming to the Kautilya's period, in Kautilya's period we get n number of examples in Kautilya Arthashastra where he describes the Visha Prayoga, and here it is also there in the Brihatrais, but more elaborate descriptions we can find in the Kautilya's Arthashastra. Here they have mentioned the motive, the use of Gara, the homicidal motive of use of Garavisha. Here they mention it as when a woman saubhagyarthe striya bharte rajnya varati chodite. Here because of attaining love from her husband or indulging in malpractices against a king, what does she do is here people having a feminine notion, please don't misunderstand this. This was a practice which was this was the method which was in practice during those days, and even today we can get such motives behind homicidal poisoning. So they have mentioned as saubhagyartam striya bhartre rajnyah va arati chodite. That is indulging with the enemy who is against a king. What they do is they use different body parts. They use such as Veda, Raja, and other exudates of the body, and they mix it with food, and it is given for ingestion. This produces the intoxication by this combination is Gara, and it produces the combination is Gara, and it produces intoxication in person. So this lies the motive which has been explained in Brihatrais, also in Kautilya's, more elaborately in Kautilya's Arthashastra. Next, coming to the Lakshanas. Am I audible now? Maybe because of the handset there is a problem. Am I audible now? I'm getting comments regarding my audible. Is that audible now? Yeah, okay. Now continuing this, if we see the practical aspects, of this Garavisha in clinical practice, the person, the clinical presentation would be systemic, and there would be no exact history, or the history would be of a very vague. History would be very vague and not pertaining to a particular cause. For example, if we see a case of food poisoning, the person would present to you as the person had some food last night or a day before, and the next day he presents with systemic presentations. It could be nausea, it could be vomiting, it could be uh, dehydration, or it could be fever, febrile conditions. Here the presentation is clear with a proper history, but in case of Gara, this might not be the presentation. The person may not give you a proper history aspect, that is, he may not know like what he had consumed, because this in Kaivisha is the concept which stands very close with the concept of Garavisha, and the practice is, though it is not the practice is not experienced, like it is not administered in a person's what do you say, like as you administer Panchakarma treatments in a person's supervision, it is not administered that as it is homicidal. What it is done is this Gara combination is given in food or some drink over a period of time, or a combination is given in a single dose, and the person will start producing signs and symptoms maybe soon after the administration or in a due course of time. Here Yoga Ratnakara mentions as one paksha for the presentation of a person who has ingested Garavisha. After the person takes in the Garavisha, person ingests Garavisha, according to Yoga Ratnakara, he tells it as the person will produce signs and symptoms after one paksha, that is after 15 days. So now coming to the lakshanas of this Ashtanga Hridaya, while mentioning the shlokas or definition for Gara, there and then he has mentioned the presentation in one line as Shopa Pandu Udara Unmada Durnamadin Karoti. He has mentioned the presentation in one single line. Whereas Charaka as well as Ashtanga or Vriddha Vagbhata has mentioned a similar presentation with slight changes in one or two signs and symptoms. Initially, see Taisyat Pandu Krusho Alpagnir Garaha Cha Asya Upajayate. Initially he tells there is Pandu, persons become Krusha, Agni comes down, is the initial presentation, which seems to be very mild in nature. Next he tells it as Marma Pradhana Admana Shwaitu Hasta Padayoho. Next it goes with further aggravation, that is Marma, there is Shwayatu in Marma Pradhana Sthanas, also Shwayatu, that is edema in Hasta and Pada. Next, further he gives the aggravated condition as Jatharam Grahani Dosham Yakshma Gulma Kshayo Jwaraha. Evam Vidhasya Chanyasya Vyadhirlingam Darshet. Until now, he tells the systemic or the somatic presentation. Here if we see from the first line till the later lines, we can see the increase in the chronicity of the signs and symptoms. Initially from the first line, the chronicity goes and the systemic presentation gets more aggressive. Especially in this condition, even the psychological manifestations has been mentioned, and Ashtanga in Ashtanga Sangraha, they have mentioned the reason for this, the reason for psychological manifestations as Vata Pratiloma Gati. caused because of this Visha. Here they have mentioned psychological symptoms as Marjara. The person sees the following animals in the dreams. Those are Marjara, Gomayu, Vyala, Nakula and Kapin. He always sees the regions, water bodies as dry. He sees himself, if he is a fair complexion person, he sees himself as dark complexion person, and the vice versa. The person who has dark complexion sees himself as fair in the dreams, and he sees figures of persons with distorted nose. These have been told as the presentations of the Garavisha. This is a reference from Charaka Chikitsa 23rd chapter. It stands as the basis for the complete Visha. Visha, its Chikitsa aspects, different types of Visha, etc. has been mentioned in a single chapter, that is Charaka Chikitsa 23rd from Charaka Samhita. Next, if we see the practical aspect of this Garavisha, it is, as discussed in the yesterday's session, that it has been in practice in parts of Karnataka and very well to a greater extent practiced as the concept of Kaivisha in Kerala. The practice is similar, that body exudates and Vishaja Dravyas and Nirvisha Dravyas are combined together, made a formulation and administered in food or in drinks to a person, and the person starts producing signs and symptoms immediately or in due course of time. That has been explained in production of symptoms is explained in Ashtanga as Chirat Chiratarat. He says, Hanti Yoga Vashena Ashu Chirat Chiratarat. Either this, because of this samyoga, it kills a person immediately, or in due course of time it causes death of a person. Next, coming to the Chikitsa aspects. Ashtanga specifies on taking the history. Once you get a person having similar presentation, systemic as well as systemic, both somatic as well as psychological presentation, as mentioned in the shloka. If you get a case, in that Ashtanga says you have to ask for the history. Ask when he has come in contact with whether he has come in contact with Vishaja substances, when, where, how. This is to be asked to a person. There is a mention of a method by which you can, if you suspect a person having Garavisha, you can assess the sthana of this Garavisha. That is, Neeli Patra Kalka is prepared by adding Kshira, and this paste is applied over the abdominal region, and if the paste doesn't dry over the region above umbilicus, the Amashaya is said to be the sthana for Garavisha. If the paste doesn't dry below the umbilicus, then Pakvashaya is said to be the sthana of Garavisha, and based on this assessment, it is said that the Shodhana therapy should be advised to a person. If it is Amashayastha, then Vamana should be done. If it is Pakvashayastha, then Virechana should be advised to a patient. Now, all the references, the textual references suggest Vamana as immediate treatment modality to be adopted in Garavisha condition. In this Vamana, they have mentioned specific yoga, that is Tamra Raja. They have mentioned it as Sukshma Tamra Rajastasmai Sakshaudra Hridvishodhanam. Here they have mentioned that Hridaya Shodhana should be done with Tamra Raja. Now there comes a doubt that whether the Tamra Raja is Tamra Bhasma or the Tamra Churna should be taken for this. And in Tikakara has cleared this doubt. He mentions it as Amrita Tamra Bhasma in 1 Masha Pramana should be given, and as it is Amrita, it causes Vamana in a person. Immediately they have mentioned that Vamana should be administered to the person, and later this Shuddhe Hradi Tatah Shanam Hemachurnena Dhapayit. Next, the Hemachurna, that is Swarna Churna, has been mentioned as the therapeutic drug here. Initially we have to perform Vamana in a person, and later after the Vamana, after the Shodhana therapy, Swarna Churna should be administered. Some mention here Swarna Churna as heating Swarna to red hot and then quenching it in water, and that jala can be administered in a person, administered to the patient as it. Next is after this Shodhana, and here they mention a simile that as water droplets cannot sustain over a lotus leaf, as there is a waxy coating over lotus leaf, and if droplets fall upon it, they cannot sustain and they just flow through. Similarly, after Shodhana and administration of Hema, the Visha gets cleared from the body. Next, then we might get a doubt that why there is use of Swarna itself. Why not any other drug? It could be Rajata Bhasma, it could be any Loha Bhasma or any other Bhasma, but why here mention of Hema? Here Gara Visha, this is my interpretation over this, is Gara Visha is a combination of substances. We don't know what sort of substances, whether it could be a combination of two poisonous substances, a poisonous, a non-poisonous substance, or completely a non-poisonous combinations. And Hema is said to be an ultimate drug which could cure or remove all sort of poisons from the body. Hence, they have mentioned Hema here. Next, other yogas also could be tried based on presentation. That is Bilvadi Agada is one of the drugs where they mention as Bilvasya Moolam Surasasya Pushpam Phalam Karanjasya Natam Surahvam Phalatrika Vyosha Nishadvayam Cha Bastasya Mutrena Susukshma Pishtam. Here Basta Mutra, goat's urine, is the Bhavana Dravya for all these drugs. That is Bilva Moola. Here this is an very special, I guess, very unique formulation where even the parts of the drugs have been mentioned. Like Bilva Moola is to be taken, Bilvasya Moolam, Surasasya Pushpam. Surasa is Tulasi, Tulasi Pushpas are taken. Phalam Karanjasa, Karanja Phala is taken. Nata Surahva, Devadaru is taken. Natam Surahvam Phalatrika, Triphala is taken. Vyosha, Trikatu is taken. Nishadvaya, that is Haridra and Daru Haridra are taken. And all these drugs, Churna of the drugs are taken, and the Bhavana of Dravya, is Bastamutra here, and this is triturated until it attains Susukshma Pishta. The consistency is told to be Susukshma Pishta. Now there is no classical reference for this term as what is the consistency of Sukshma Pishta formulation. But many researches they have conducted over this Bilvadi Agada, that how much time we can triturate to attain the therapeutic benefit. The As we know, the Vishavaidya Parampara still exists in Kerala. Most of the Vishavaidyas opine that the more the Bilvadi undergoes bhavana, the more it increases it directly increases its potency of the drug. And many of the Vishwaidyas have a practice of always having Bilvadi Agada in a khalva, and daily they get goat's urine and pour over it and do the trituration of it. And one of the Vishwaidyas mentioned it as over the year, more than an year, if more than say 10,000 bhavanas it is done, it attains a consistency that it doesn't further absorbs the goat's urine, that is ajamutra. And in such a condition has got utmost therapeutic benefits. Bilvadi is drug which is used in Bhujanga, that is Sarpavisha, Bhujanga, Luta, Undura, Bhujanga, Luta, Undura, Unman. The Adi Vishaja conditions it is mentioned. And there is another Agada combination of Pancha Shirisha Agada, where Panchangas of Shirisha are used, and it is either administered in Kalka form or in tablet form. It can be in Kashaya form. It can be administered. Some of the other yogas used drugs which are used in administering the procedures, that is Vamana can be done along with Vacha also, and in Virechana can be done with Snuhi Kshira. That can be done based on the presentations. Clinically, how do we assess a case of Garavisha? If the presentation is very vague and mostly systemic, if the person is presenting with anorexia, nausea, vomiting sensation, agnimanyata, that is indigestion, and loss of appetite, if the person has lost weight drastically in due course of time, and the person becomes psychologically and physically weaker, his physical competency comes down. In such conditions, you can always have this Garavisha in mind and treat accordingly. The second thing is, if none of the treatments are being effective in a person, then also you can have this concept of Garavisha in mind. The treatment of Garavisha as such is still there. There is a temple called Tiruvila Mahadeva Kshetra. The place is in Chertala in Kerala, where they treat this Kaivisha cases. What they do is they ask them to come previous day of administration of the drug. Previous day by 3 they have to go to the temple. They will be allowed to witness all the temple procedures there, and later the next day by 8 in the morning they will be administered the Aushadha. The combination of which is not known. They don't reveal the combination. Early morning it is administered, and once the person takes in the Aushadha, he starts vomiting, and after that once he stops with the vomiting, he can have the temple prasadam and then leave the temple by evening. This is the procedure which is adopted in treating Garavisha or Kaivisha cases in Kerala. I think I've covered with all the sessions. Now I keep the session open for discussion, and I would ask students if they have any doubts regarding this particular topic. And if there is no doubt in the audience, I would like to ask a question here. Most of the Visha presentations, if you go through, there would be one or the other dermatological manifestation. But in case of Gara, the dermatological manifestations has not been mentioned. Could you explain why it could be, or could you just try to get an answer for this? Why there is no dermatological manifestation in Garavisha as classical references tell? It's not that it should not be. Okay, I'll leave this as a brain stimulant for the next session. I would hope that I would get some hypothesis for this question. Why the dermatological manifestations for Garavisha has not been highlighted, where most of the other Vishas, the dermatological manifestation, some or the other part, some or the other way it has been stressed upon, but why not in Garavisha? Okay, with this open question, I would like to wind up. If there are no discussion points or if there are no queries, I would like to wind up the session here. Are there any queries regarding the topic? Okay, then I shall wind up the session. Thank you for patient listening. Thank you.